the Dr. Joe Dispenza retreat. Um, Yesterday we were having the first full day. We did 3 meditations, and yes, we were talking about cerebral spinal fluid, which is in our spine, and by doing the breath that Dr. Joe teaches, that we can move that fluid up into the brain, and it basically flushes the brain from toxins. It's like flushing a toilet. And that's why we're doing the breath, because we're moving the energy
That's
up.
why we want to do the breath much more, and you should buy a book or study Dr. Joe, how he's teaching it, so it will help you because he said that it also prevents neurodegenerative uh,
Disease.
diseases, and that's what we want, right? We don't want to have our brain clogged with chemicals and so on, so it's very good.
Hmm. Then we also learned a lot about the survival mode, that when the survival mode switches on, that our bodies just wants to either fight, freeze, or run, and the all the adrenaline is going into our extremities, and we just felt it the other
Yeah.
day, and it's so extreme. And in the survival response, the only thing we focus on are the body and the environment and time.
I wanted to share a little bit about my experience. I got into this beautiful venue, and it's quite expensive. Every night costs around $400 or something like that, which we never buy anywhere we go. We are a bit more frugal, and for us it's a very big investment. But we love to invest this money into this event because we love it. But the waiters were not that nice when we started to be here. They were a little bit not smiling, it was taking like 10 minutes until they brought us a spoon and like fork and knife to eat our food, which got already cold. And then I was like, okay. And then we came back for lunch from breakfast, and then it repeated. So what was my mind figuring out about this? What was it thinking about? It was that I wanted to move on other half of the restaurant, so I will have a different waiter, maybe nicer, maybe not nicer. And I basically, this is what we do all the time. We are just making our life smaller. I don't go to this half of the restaurant, and I don't eat this food, and we are just making it tighter and tighter. The space around us, space of our in our planet, in our life, we just make it so tight that we sometimes can't even breathe.
Or
So
I completely avoid a place because
yeah, or
that person
avoiding the
was not
place.
good to me,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I will never go there
Yeah,
again.
or we never go to the hotel, never go to the same restaurant, and so on. And it is extremely, it's causing a lot of anxiety because then we are constantly in survival mode, and we are constantly observing, hey, am I going to go there? But what if there's this person and he's not nice to me? And I thought people or waiters in the all inclusive, super expensive venue are going to be nice, and they are not. And then when you want to discuss about somebody, about something like this, like you want to figure it out, you want to change it, then you have to expect that people will tell you, hey, what do you attract, you receive, and stuff like that. And it's not always like that we want to attract these things. We want to work with it. We don't want to hear, well, it's your energy, you attracted it, and that's it. No, we want to deal with it. And so we actually changed this. And we, I decided in that moment when I figured it out that I'm not going to make my life smaller, that we just are going to be a
Just
little
because
bit
of
more,
somebody or some
yeah, yeah.
circumstance.
We are just going to be a little bit more speaking up for ourselves. That was the teaching moment for us, the aha moment. So I said, okay, so if they are going to behave like this, I either take my plastic fork and spoon or knife or whatever, or we go to the manager and we say, hey, please just make sure that the staff is at least smiling a little bit, and they just give us fork and knife when we need it. Then don't. And from then, it didn't happen at all. We didn't have a problem since that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just decision. Hey, I'm going to do something. You don't even have to do anything. You just decide to deal with your things. And sometimes it's very good to say, okay, I'm going to do this and this if something happens. And it's like a firm decision that you are never not going to leave from somewhere just because somebody's not nice to you and they are supposed to be nice to you. And especially when you're in a restaurant, right? And and it helped and it worked. And since that, it didn't come
Mm-hmm.
up.
Because you decided that you're not going to let this limit your experience of life.
Yeah.
And what we want to do when we're in this survival response, like the body wants to hide and make itself small or fight, and you're constantly anticipating what could happen next, what should I do, how should I deal with it, and you're looking out and scanning the environment for problems.
Mm-hmm.
But what we want to do is to, instead of having this narrow focus on the people and on the location, we want to have an open focus. We want to focus on space, on the field around us, because when we are having an open focus, our brain waves change,
Mm-hmm.
and we can actually open our heart. We can actually start to trust and be good in the environment we're in. We're not anymore trying to just survive.
Thanks. Yeah, and I really loved, and I actually explained this way for me what we all are living in. Because when somebody asks me a question or asks you a question, they want to have some limited answer. What do you do? Oh, I work as a waiter. Okay, I have you in the brackets and in some box or in a whatever, what is this, Schublade?
Drawer.
In a drawer, and that's it. And everybody is having, like, I pictured it like you're driving. And that's what I learned, and Dr. Joe also inspired me about this, that sometimes I'm driving my car and I play some story in my head, and I don't even know how I made it to home. I didn't know how I got home, but because I was just, my body's attentive. I look at the road, I see all those threats and so on. I would react, my body would react. It's so automatic. But I have like a ball in front of me, like a balloon, which is filled with a story. And through that story, I can't see the reality as it is, because there is my story which I'm playing in my head. So imagine two people are meeting like us, and here is my story about him, about life, about everything, and here is his story. We don't even see each other the way we are. It's not possible to see the truth.
And Dr. Cho says you are not who you think you are.
Mm-hmm. We are not seeing the reality as it is. We are not capable to do this because we have the story. All of us have a story, and we all, like, if you talk to a person who doesn't do this work, who is not into self-development or anything, and they just ask you a question, they want to have an answer so they can put you in the brackets. They judge you the way that they know how to approach you. If you say, "Oh, I don't work, I'm a millionaire, I have a private jet, I just came here for one night," they will immediately put you on the pedestal, and they will treat you differently than you would say, "Oh, I'm homeless, now I don't have anything to eat and I didn't shower for 3 days."
That's right.
That person immediately has a story there, immediately pulls out from a drawer some story, and they play it about you there.
And after that moment, the person that was asking the question, who you are, already can't see you anymore, how you actually are.
Yes. And that's all. We all have it. We all do this, and sometimes it's really helpful. That's why we are here. We survive, and we can still be here in this planet, right? Because it's the survival. But it's also very good to sometimes remove it, because it causes us anxiety. It doesn't make us to connect with other people just because of this story. And sometimes it's very protective. So we have to be very conscious and try to see a little bit beyond the veil, beyond this balloon between us.
You know what Dr. Joe Dispenza calls it? He calls it the virtual reality headset.
Yeah.
Because he says as soon as you take your blindfolds off and you get out of the meditation, you put the virtual reality headset on, and you are your identity, you are in your story, and you perceive everything the way you are, not the way things really are, but the way you are. And it's an illusion what we see. We don't perceive, like, the chance that we perceive the reality the way it is, he says, is zero. And the only way for us to actually perceive reality and recognize who we truly are and where we are really from as source energy is by laying down our character, as he says,
Just
laying down, leaving the character behind,
like
our identity,
it, right?
and our virtual reality headset, and by entering into pure consciousness, where we no longer have our senses, our taste, smell, sight, touch, where we are just pure consciousness and just thought in an endless blackness.
Yeah,
That's where we get to see what reality really is, and that we are all connected, that we are all one.
and the form of the mind is very boring, because there you are in the blackness, you have your eyes closed with the blindfolds on, and what now? There is like mind wants to give you some, where are those mystical, mysterious beings and super cool experiences, how my body is convulsing and with energy, and where is this super cool ecstatic feelings and energies, and they are nowhere, because they are not there, because we are not that good if we start meditating. Or I also caught me in meditation. I actually thought I am in a blackness, I am in nothingness, and when we close our eyes, we have blindfolds on and we don't think about nothing. We think about nothing. And then I realized I'm playing some spiritual images or spiritual thoughts having, and so on and so on. And I realized it's also the mind. It's also supposed to be removed and just let it be like a clean slate, like blank paper or black paper, though. But and I caught myself to search. I was searching for this, not drama, but this special experience, or which heals me forever and changes me forever, but it's not it.
And it can never come when you're expecting it, when you look for it and when you hope for it.
Or I thought I'm not hoping anymore, and that's why I saw the programs, that they are still there, right?
That's something that I find extremely interesting, that on these retreats where we are doing the work on ourselves, where we are discovering our spiritual self, is how many of us get triggered, or how many of us see old programs coming up that we thought we already overcame, because we actually make the time to sit down with ourselves, with our eyes closed. We are not distracting ourselves with our phone and speaking to people. We're just by ourselves and quiet. And programs come to the surface and they trigger us, and they're very challenging. The body gives us a lot of challenges. It wants to show us, and it also wants us to stay in those old emotions and those old thoughts. But this is exactly why we do the work, so we can overcome it. And when we take this time to actually being on this retreat, we can see what is underneath and we can address it.
And would you share some practical experience, so you're not so theoretical?
For example, I was dealing with anxiety a lot, and I thought already a few months ago that I'm good, that I overcame it, and now I'm on the retreat and I wanted to just focus on something completely else. I didn't want to heal anxiety or anything, and there came just a little bit of that back to the surface again. I was like surprised, like, what? I thought I'm good with this.
And it makes you then scared, and you think about it, you want to anticipate it, you want to predict it.
Avoid
is it going to happen or not? I'm going to avoid being with people then, and and stuff like that. So
Yes, and so this is something that comes up, and we then need to address it. We were doing yesterday 3 meditations, or like day 2, we were doing 3 meditations, and they were all focused on opening our heart first. We were moving the energy with our breath, and then we were just practicing going into the blackness. We were not doing any creation or tuning in yet. We just focused on being in the blackness. Meditation, which you can do at home, similar to this, is like the space time space, or the
or
generous
generous
present
present moment.
moment. And it's really good to start with this because you actually can just learn to continuously catch yourself, your mind wandering, and it's a normal thing that it happens.
Yeah.
And we just catch ourselves and we go back, and we don't make a big deal about it.
Yeah, but it's also
Oh,
great.
your microphone.
It's also great to make not a big deal about it, because if I recommend to make, you will just train your mind to be your servant and not your master by doing generous present moment meditation. We can maybe have a little chat about this in other videos about the meditations, but it's really cool. So, and that's what he is putting a lot of attention to. So the brain waves can just fix themselves and harmonize themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
And I can also share from my experience. I was the first 2 meditations, I was extremely tired, and it was therefore very easy for me to not think too much because I don't have any capacity to think. So I was still nodding in the meditations, and it was quite pleasant and relaxing and restorative. But after I felt a little bit more restored and we were doing the meditations, I started to get a little bit frustrated, and I started to hear those thoughts and feel those feelings, those old emotions. And I got out of the meditation being a little disappointed, and I don't want that. And then the meditation after that, like we always,
the mind is really judging and wants to make you feel bad
yes,
because you
it's not
didn't do it
working, and you
well.
invested so much money, and
Yeah.
now it's not working.
Yeah.
And we continuously rehearse after the meditations, and we say, okay, what will we do better next time? What did we do really good? And the meditation after that, I was actually focusing on just being positive and grateful to be here, and not really making a big deal out of it. And I had a much better experience because of it, instead of just stamping the meditation as a bad experience.
It's really cool to. I'm learning, I am also on a very, very long path to this, what I'm going to say right now. And it is that I'm actually learning how to enjoy time with myself. But truly, when you close your eyes and there are no nail polishes, TV shows, dresses and clothes and anything, just me in the blackness, and I'm just learning how to allow me to enjoy this time with me, and also Raphael shared with me, and I agree very much, that he just in a meditation observed his body, and he enjoyed observing his body, being with his body. And that's what we have to focus on. That's what we are going to work on now, reminding us every time this mind says to us, like, hey, you don't do it well, you should be better, you should have some experiences, you should see some mystical beings or whatever, and you are not healed, you have still your pain or something, and that's why people don't heal yet, because they have to get into this space where they are receiving basically from themselves the attention, which is like if you look at your child, or if you look at your animal which you love, you also don't judge them, you just purely love them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you need to do to your body, and that's what we are now learning and working with to give to our body.
And that's what this channel is: body with your body.
Body with your body, actually, yes. So yeah,
Yes.
I think it's the best and it's the biggest take away from, not only from this retreat, but from my evolution as me, Petra, because it's everything, right? If you are happy with yourself, like, I don't need anything, right? I'm whole in that moment. And when you're whole, you have everything on your, because you're so magnetic and you're so positive and so happy about things. So
Just happy with you.
mm,
If you're happy with you, you're happy with everyone.
mm,
That's what we want to do. Be more whole,
yeah,
or be wholeness.
yeah. So we had one person here who recognized Raphael from
Yes.
Body with Your Body. We have like 1,200 followers, no, 1,300. I'm sorry. And we have one person. He felt so cool. Like,
Yeah, it was
it's
really
so
nice.
funny.
I'm not sure. I think his name was Neo. I don't know if it was Neo or Leo. And he said, yeah, he just saw the video yesterday. So we were really happy for it. And thank you all for watching as well.
And I'm going to show you the view from our balcony, which we have like 10 minutes a day, because otherwise we are meditating and we are just we just knew what we are going into. You
Now
know?
it's actually sunny.
It's sunny
It's cloudy
here,
a
so
lot.
you can also see it. There are a lot of birds. You see? Isn't it amazing? And because we have it like a little bit of a day, I prioritized today washing my hair over this sitting and watching this beautiful view, because we have very little time on retreats. You probably, if you attended Dr. Joe's retreat, you know, but we basically are busy if we don't eat, and the hotel venue is very, very big, so when you want to get your food, you have to walk like 300 steps before you get
It's a
your
very
food.
big hotel.
Yeah.
All right. So
So-
we'll see you next time. Thank you for being
See
here.
you next time. Yeah, and thank you so much for being with us and being interested in your own evolution. And you can share with us if you have some questions or whatever you are interested in. We will be happy to hear it, or not hear it, read it. Read it. Yeah. So have a nice day.
See you.
See you.